So here are the vocals, totally raw, no EQ, no compression, no reverb, nothing.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sink my teeth. I'm big hurry, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sink my teeth. I'm big hurry, homie, niggas dying to eat.
Cool. So, pretty clean vocal recording, I'd say, for the most part. The first thing I usually do with EQ, with vocals, is I grab, I have certain plugins that I always start with that have a preset that I just think is good. I start with the de-esser. The Fab filter as de-esser is great. I always also end with the de-esser. And these are just kind of things I've done with experimenting and trying different things. And, you know, I've, for whatever reason, a little de-essing before, and then, you know, when you do your EQ and compression stuff, you're like, I need a little bit extra taming, but I don't want to EQ that. You know, I don't want to cut the high end out, or, you know, cut the S's out. So then I throw on a second de-esser. I also, when my vocals end up going back through the all vocal dry bus, I use 2 more de-essers as well. And a lot of the times it's just, again, with the layer thing, they're just, you know, I'm not using one de-esser to just crush it. Like, one is doing a little bit, my second de-esser is doing a little bit, and then my third and fourth, they all just do a little bit, and eventually you get this thing where it's like, okay, it's, you know, it sounds clean, but you're not missing your S's, or, you know, you're having no sibilance issues, but you're, you know, you're also making sure that you can hear those clearly. But yeah, so I start and end with the de-esser. That'll be my first move, and then my second move will usually be with a Fab filter. Q3 is generally the one I start with. I love the Fab filter stuff. I think it's super clean. There's got a lot of different modes. There's a 0 latency mode, there's natural phase and linear phase, which I don't really get into. I usually leave it in 0 latency, but I do know that those other ones can affect the tonality and sort of the way the EQ works. A lot of times, you know, there might be way more of these smaller cuts, but for the most part, I think this client, Leo, he's got a pretty clean voice just naturally, and you know, with him, I find I don't have to do a ton of EQing necessarily, but these are mostly just where you know, you do the old boost and cut, where you know, boost it, and then you kind of try to find the frequencies that sound, you know, not so great, and then you cut them. And essentially that's what I've done here. That gives you a bit better, yeah. So that kind of shows you, yeah, I find that the high mid-range area is usually where I have the most issues with artists, and then sort of the low mid-range area. And then as you can see, I've got the low end rolled off and a bit of high end rolled off, a pretty decent amount. And then I've got just a little bit of EQ here and there. It looks like more, but that's just because of the range I'm showing is, and I believe this one, yeah, so this one is sort of acting more as like a multi-band compressor, where I have this whole range just being compressed just a little bit. Again, you know, like I've been saying throughout the whole video, just lots of little things. So you know, I'm not necessarily taking out a ton of anything or adding a ton of anything. It's just, you know, you look at it on you know, on a bigger scale, and it's really not doing a lot. But when you're looking at it, you know, on a 6 dB scale, it's looks like a lot, but it really isn't. But let's, I'll play you the vocals without the EQ and then with it. I'll also do another EQ after I compress to kind of, because sometimes when you compress and you know, maybe you just do different things after you've done this initial EQ, you're like, oh, well, this compression now has brought up another frequency that I wasn't hearing before because of the compression wasn't there, and now it is. So I'll usually use an EQ after that, but this is the vocals with no EQ.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sink my teeth. I'm big hurry, homie, niggas dying to eat.
Okay, and now with.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves.
So you can hear a bunch of those, the resiny kind of areas in his upper mid range of his vocals. I tamed a bit, and it just feels a little more controlled, and I feel like that's sitting better than it was before. Then I go after the Nectar plugin, which is a great plugin. And it's basically a plugin that's just designed to be used for vocals. It's got different, there's like an auto-tune pitch thing, which I don't really use. It should be off. And then it's got different compressors. It's got different presets like vintage, optical, solid state. And you can change the threshold. It's got an EQ, which I added a little bit of brightness and I took away some. Again, like we were talking before, just piecing everything together, just little moves, a little harmonic saturation. This on, I also use the de-esser. I don't usually hit it too hard. I think in his case, maybe I did. Let's see.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out.
It also has a limiter on it too, which I find really helpful. This is kind of like the input and output, and you know, the more you raise the input, you'll hit the limiter a little harder. Again, these are just like tiny controls, so sometimes if I feel like the vocal is just, you know, it's just hitting a little hard, I use the limiter here, and that way I'm sort of saving my final limiter to kind of just finish everything off. I use on the vocals, I use the ozone limiter as like my final limiter, but having the one in Nectar is nice. I like using that one just a little bit to kind of tame some of the louder parts. And then I use a SSL channel again. Probably, let's see, this one, the saturation is off. I trim the input gain up a little bit just to hit it a little harder. You've got some low end roll off and a little high end roll off. A little bit of compression going on. Let's see.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves.
So yeah, so a little compression. You can hear it now. It's getting a little more present, and we're getting a little more volume, I guess you could say, out of our vocal. And now I hear, after compressing that, I'm like, okay, there's some more EQ that needs to be done, because I'm hearing some new resonance. Mostly it was, yeah, this 1600 range and this sort of low mid area. I felt like needed a little bit of touching up, so.
Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves, they love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth.
Just kind of tames it a little bit. And again, when I go in and then I use the all my vocal mix stuff, that also will bring it to a whole other level, which I'll show you. So like I said, I start with a de-esser. Now, this is, my vocals go through this bus, and then they go, they vocals, they come out of the console, and then they go through the console to a bus, and come back in this channel, all vocals dry. And so then I start with a de-esser again, and then a dynamic EQ or a multi-band EQ, however you want to call it. And I like this one because you've got mid and side, which is kind of nice. So you can EQ, or you can compress the mid-range or the middle and the sides differently. So that way, you know, for example, I find that the middle I want to take out a bit more low end, because that's usually where like the kick and the sub sit, and then I kind of want to do the sides a little bit different and have them be a little bassier, because there's less bassy things happening on the stereo, like on the far left and far right, I always put my kick drum and bass drum in the center of my mix. So yeah, and it's, you know, it's, again, it's subtle things. There's nothing crazy in terms of I'm not like smashing anything, but, you know, enough where it's making a difference. So let's bypass that and we'll check that out. Check out the chorus.
They love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch.
Now with some dynamic EQ.
They love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat.
So now again, it's just a little bit more of just kind of, you know, bringing the reins in a little bit, controlling things. I want the vocals to be present, but I don't want them to be shrill and like hurt your ears and be annoying. And I find as soon as I turn on the, you know, the dynamic EQ here, it usually tames everything. Especially I noticed with the mid-range of a lot of vocals in general, it seems like this takes care of a lot of that muddiness, and especially in the mid-high end too, that sort of where it gets nasally, that seems to tame it a lot as well. So here's
they love to feed off a sheep.
without.
Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the.
And then with.
They love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Watch the wolves. They love to feed off a sheep. Let me find out that your bitch ass sweet. Let me find out so I can sing my teeth. I'm bad hurrying, homie, niggas dying to eat. Oh no, here come a transit.
So yeah,